On the field tonight at Fenway Park, Adley Rutschman will not be in uniform, still on the injured list. But the results of the trade still rippling through the Red Sox clubhouse, Red Sox organization, call what have you, or call it what you will, is really what I should say. 617-779-0985. Couple of simple questions for you post-deadline day as it relates to the Red Sox, their roster, the deals. I have told you they overpaid, and that's okay. I sort of just want people to accept that. We were joking about this at the end of Felger and Mazz. I don't understand why people are putting up so much of a fight about them winning the trade. At the end of the day, it's about whether they win games. And so if you're asking me, do I think the Red Sox overpaid on Curtis Mead? My answer is yes. Do I think they overpaid on Adley Rutschman? My answer is yes. Do I think they overpaid on Eric Miller by giving up Marcelo Meyer? My answer is yes. Yes. They overpaid on all three trades. I feel like that's not even really debatable, frankly. So I know people want to win the trade and they want to win at everything all the time. Sometimes you have to lose a trade to make your team better. That's okay. So I have two questions for you as the Red Sox return to the field against the Chicago White Sox. And I believe that Patrick Sandoval is on the mound tonight, so I just want to get that off my chest. Also, Murray, Murray's not working. Can you get on the mic real quick for 1 second?
Yeah, what's up?
You said to me during the break, and Jim Murray's still here, he's getting ready to leave. Did you say Garrett Crochet has begun throwing?
Yes.
And so this came out of Fenway Park in the pregame?
Yeah, Chad Tracy had said it today.
Okay. So I'm a little surprised by this because it didn't feel like Garrett Crochet was going to be throwing anytime soon. So, I would tell you if things go fine, you could see him in the month of September. My guess is that that's what the Red Sox are shooting for.
Just so I just want to give you a little bit more on it. Jen McCaffrey, obviously, of The Athletic, she wrote Crochet's begun throwing at 50 to 60 feet.
Okay, probably on flat ground, not on a mound yet. He's just playing catch. And so he would have a ways to go. I mean, he's going to need to make 2 or 3 starts in the minor leagues. That right there is 15 days. And he's going to have to build up to get on the mound, and that's probably going to be a couple of weeks. So I think you're looking at September. But that's an interesting detail. It's the start of a return to the field. That's why that is relevant information. I wanted to share that with you. So thank you, Jim, and I know you're trying to get out of here. The 2 questions I have for you in the wake of the trading deadline day. Forget about what they gave up. Okay, I'm willing to forget about that right now. Do you like the guys they got? Do you like Curtis Mead? Do you like Adley Rutschman? Do you like Eric Miller? Do you like those 3 guys? And please, don't bullcrap me. Rutschman, I'm sure you've seen. We've all seen Adley Rutschman. The other 2 guys, I'm willing to bet that half of you had never even heard of Curtis Mead, and I'm willing to bet that more than half of you had never heard of Eric Miller. Okay, so that's number 1. Do you like the guys they got back? Now let me ask you a bigger picture, philosophical question. And Jimmy Stewart, if you want to chime in on this, you can. If there were a player to acquire for your team, and you had to give up either money or prospects, but you had to give up one of those 2 things, which one would you rather give up to get that player?
I would rather give up the prospects because in the analogy that I'll make here is years ago, it was trading prospects for Josh Beckett or signing A.J. Burnett off of the market. My guess is if you're giving up the prospects, you're getting a younger player and a better player. If you're spending just the money on the player, he's probably older and has maybe 1 or 2 years left, as opposed to the player that you're moving prospects for has like 5, 6, or 7 years.
Okay, so Jimmy, that is a well thought out and detailed answer, because generally speaking, you are correct that the free agent market is typically one with older players. The younger ones in their prime are typically available through trade. It's a very well thought out answer. I'm just curious as to what people value more. What do you value more? Are you more reluctant to give up the prospects, or are you more reluctant to give up the money? And there's a reason I ask you that. And it relates to the question of the players the Red Sox got back. Do you like them? Do you like them? Because I think all the guys they got back could help the team. I think they also have major flaws. So let me just give it to you, and then we'll get right to your phones because a lot of you lined up right away. Curtis Mead could be a flash in the pan. Now, he's hurt. Obviously got hit by a pitch, broke a bone in his wrist / forearm. Whatever. He's out for at least a month. But Curtis Mead had never done anything until this year, and the numbers were inflated a little bit during the month of July. In other words, April, May, and June, he had basically, let's call it a 770 OPS, which is nothing to sneeze at. That's not a bad number. By the time the Red Sox got him, his OPS was almost 860 because he had a whopper of a July. So they got him at a peak for him, what may be a peak this season. That's number one. Adley Rutschman is injured and has not been the same player in the last 3 years of his career, counting this one, that he was in the first two. So I looked this up this morning. According to Fangraphs, in the first 2 years of his career, Adley Rutschman was basically the best catcher in baseball. He ranked number one in WAR. He ranked number one in OPS. Now he ranks 10th in WAR and 20th in OPS. Now, his defense was first in the first 2 years, third now. So his defense hasn't slipped much, if at all. But I would submit, especially a catcher, if you want to be one of the best catchers in baseball, you got to be in the top 3 to 5. There are really only 3 or 4 what you would call elite catchers in baseball. If you're 10th or 20th, you're way closer to the middle of the pack than you are the top. So Rutschman has slipped in the last 3 years, and he's hurt. And as for the reliever, Eric Miller, Eric with a K, conveniently enough, Eric Miller walks 6 batters per 9 innings. 6. That means in any inning, he's basically coming close to giving up a walk. If he pitches 3 games, in 2 of them, he's going to walk someone because he's probably going to get an inning every time. Every one of these guys has flaws. So if you like the players, great. The cost shouldn't matter to you. It's all about helping the big league club. That's what it is. But do you like the players they got back, or do you have questions? Because my guess is you're just, on some level, you're just happy that they made deals because it makes them look like they're trying, and they are, I guess. And then beyond that, I think there's another element that we haven't talked much about as to why the Red Sox got the players they got. And it relates to the 2 questions I asked you. So Brian's in Scituate. He'll kick us off tonight on the Baseball Hour. Brian, what do you got?
Tony, I got a bone to pick with you, my friend.
Well, go right ahead and pick it.
I will, Mr. Robin Hood Maserati. Wanting to come on here for all weekend long, starting Monday and today, crying about these poor players in their argument with the owners. What is your problem? I mean, I don't understand. The Baltimore Ravens in the NFL can be competitive every year, yet the Baltimore Orioles have done nothing my whole life.
Wait a minute. I'm not complaining about the players. What am I complaining about the players about?
You're crying for them.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. You're saying the owners are colluding against them. The owners have more money than you could think of. I want to watch a league where the rules are the same for everybody. The Green Bay Packers have just as much of a chance as the LA Rams in football, yet the Milwaukee Brewers have no chance against the LA Dodgers.
Brian, I'm in favor of a salary cap. I'm in favor of a salary cap. I never said I wasn't in favor of a salary cap. I'm in favor of one. So again, this is part of the problem, and you're talking about the Tarek Skubal deal. What I said was the Tarek Skubal trade feels like a bag job, so that the owners can say, see, we need a salary cap because nobody can stop the Dodgers. How did the Dodgers get Tarek Skubal for an offer that, while they were asking the Brewers for more? You understand? The offer that they asked for from the Brewers was more than what they asked for from the Dodgers. And remember that the Dodgers have been allowed to keep some of that revenue sharing money that most teams wouldn't have been able to keep. So it feels to me like the rules, at least as far as the money, have been favored toward the Dodgers all leading up to this. My point was, all I said was, ask the owners, what are the 30 owners in Major League Baseball, would you rather win the championship or get a salary cap? What would they say? And the answer is get a salary cap. That's my opinion. I never said I was against the cap. I said earlier in the year, I'm for the cap. Because I think it has gotten out of control, but I also think the owners have rigged it. Pete's in Plainville. Pete, go ahead.
Hey, Tony. Great show. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Mead move, to be honest with you. I didn't like. I agree. You're right. I didn't know who he was, and I thought the early was an overpay. So, but with Rutschman, and he hasn't been what he's been when he first started, but I think it's a move worth trying. And the position with catching, if he's an elite defender and then he hits it all, it might be worth it. And I agree with Jimmy in terms of, would I rather pay money or prospects? I'm sick of prospects at this point. Mayer, think of all the guys that have been drafted and highly touted, Casas, Mayer. I still believe in Anthony, but even him, Campbell, it's just a long line. So let's get real players in here and see what happens. And I think they have a shot now.
Yeah, Pete, that was a very honest, mature answer. I didn't know much about Curtis Mead. I wasn't going to sit there and lie to you. So I looked up his history. I know he'd been designated for assignment a couple of times and changed teams 3 times in a year. So that concerns me. Also, he has no history of hitting for power like he hit this year. So could it be that he fixed his swing? Sure. Could it be something else? Protein shakes? Maybe. I rule out nothing. I don't know if he can sustain it. I don't know how good he is defensively. The reputation on him defensively is not great. As for Rutschman and the question about what would you rather do, pay money or give up prospects? Jimmy Stewart says prospects, made a nice argument saying that if you're giving up prospects, you're probably trading for a younger guy who might not have a big contract. It's an excellent point. And you also say you'd rather give up prospects. I think the Red Sox agree with you. In fact, I know they do. And let me tell you why they chose the way they chose when we come back. That's next on the Baseball Hour.
The Baseball Hour.
Will cost the Red Sox about $3 million for the rest of the year. Rutschman is making $7.25. So let me just put it to you this way. Rutschman's making $7.25. The other 2 guys are making $800,000. So let's call the whole thing $9 million to make it a nice, easy number. But 2/3 of the season is gone. That money's already paid. So $6 million of the $9 million that these guys make has been paid by someone else. The Red Sox have decided they would much rather give up all those players that they traded away and pay those guys only $3 million and take their chances. And Curtis Mead, Adley Rutschman, and Eric Miller will all be on the Red Sox for 2027, and 2 of them will be on the Red Sox for a couple of years, or the way I should say it is, they're under the control of the Red Sox. If they want to keep Rutschman here, they're going to have to sign him, which we can get to in a little while here. First, Drew in a car insists the Red Sox did not overpay. Go ahead, Drew.
No, they didn't overpay. They got major league talent for prospects. Prospects are simply that, prospects.
So all
guys have never done anything at the major league level. I mean, Tony, we just went through 5 years of bad baseball because we were told to keep waiting for the prospects.
So, Drew,
how did that work?
Drew, that's not the point. So would you have traded Roman Anthony for Eric Miller? Would you have done that?
You mean Roman Ellsbury? Yeah. I would have traded yesterday if I could have got Otto Lopez for Franklin Arias. He would have been out on the first thing smoking.
Okay, so you'd trade Roman Anthony. Hold on, stop talking. You would trade Roman Anthony then for anybody. If you believe an established big leaguer is better, then you would trade any prospect for any big leaguer at any time. Is that right?
Something of value, yes.
Okay, well, what's a define of value?
Major player for Roman Anthony? Bye-bye.
Okay, you said major player. So you do acknowledge that not all prospects are the same. Anthony Ianson, and you don't know about him, which is fine. I don't expect you to know everyone about him. He's highly regarded. He's highly regarded. You traded him for a catcher who's injured and has been, at best, an average player, really, for the last couple of years. 3 years. So, but the Red Sox agree with you. They would trade the prospects because they don't want to pay the salary. Zach's in a car. Zach, go ahead.
First of all, Tony, hopefully you're having a great night.
Likewise.
First, I'd have to agree with the other caller. I don't think we overpaid at all. And before you rip me a new one, same thing. I'm tired of always, let's keep prospects, let's keep them. No, I'm glad that Craig Breslow actually did something, because if we saw it high and bloom, do you think he pulls off that trade for Adley Rutschman?
No, he doesn't. I let you go just because I got other people on the phone. So listen, I like the fact that they've added players too. I'm just telling you there are two components to it. Not every trade is a win, and that's okay. I don't understand why the trade has to be a win based on what you give up. I know what prospects are. And by the way, I have said this before any of you had. I've always said you can't keep all the prospects. The trick is to identify which ones are legit, which ones aren't. So the Red Sox should have traded Jacoby Ellsbury 2 years ago. They didn't. They could have gotten something for him then when he was still a promising cheap player. They didn't evaluate him properly. So I would tell you, I wouldn't trade Roman Anthony. I think Roman Anthony can play. Marcelo Meyer doesn't bother me as much. And you know why? Because I don't think he can play. Certainly not like Roman Anthony. I think even if Marcelo Meyer turns into a pro, a pretty decent pro, he's not going to be the kind of guy that you miss. And like I would look at Andrew Benintendi right now and say, he never panned out. Would you have traded Andrew Benintendi early on? I wouldn't have, but he didn't pan out. So no big deal. So that's an evaluation mistake. This is what I'm getting at. You have to be able to evaluate the players. Jason in Taunton. Go ahead, Jason.
Mazz, I don't care about trading prospects, but what I do care about is when this franchise consistently chooses to be cheap and just boatload great prospects away for just no-name players, guys that aren't really going to help you. If you're going to make an altering move like that, something that changes your franchise, put it all together. Take all those guys and go get something that changes your franchise.
Okay, so
go
Jason,
never address that.
Okay, so look, they're not going to be able to fill every need. I was waiting for someone to bring that up, but let me ask you, do you feel they traded for guys? So this comes back to the other question. Do you like the players they got back? Do you think they acquired the guy you're talking about?
No, they never addressed shortstop, which was their biggest need. They never addressed a frontline starter. They're just sitting back going, you know what, fans, we're smarter than you. We're going to get back Crochet this year. We're going to get Roman Anthony back this year. And those are the two best moves we could have possibly made. But instead, you trade all our prospects away for what I'll call like used cars, B players. Go get a franchise guy. Go get a shortstop, a De La Rosa, something like that. Add a little bit more and go all out.
De La Rosa. Who's De La Rosa? Who's he talking about? He said, go get a De La Rosa.
De La Cruz.
Oh, De La Cruz. Ellie De La Cruz. So, look, I think they asked. I think the Reds didn't want to trade him. Now, I will also tell you that, look, I agree. Generally, go trade for franchise guys. None of those guys moved at this deadline, so those guys weren't available. And could it be that they traded for a catcher, that they gave up? They didn't trade all their prospects. They kept Franklin Arias. So there's a couple of guys they still have. And I would say that Breslow is betting on his ability to develop pitching, and he might be right. They've done a good job with pitching. Jake Bennett's going to be here next year. Ranger Suarez is a free agent, but he's going to be here next year. In theory, Garrett Crochet will be back. He will be here next year. Who's the other guy? Young guy I'm leaving out, Jimmy. There's someone I'm leaving out who's young and left-handed.
Tolley?
Tolley, thank you. Absolutely. Tolley is going to be here next year. So their rotation's in pretty good shape. See, I disagree with this idea they had to go out and get a frontline starter. I think it was their biggest need was a legit bat. The best they could do was Rutschman. I'm just not sure that Rutschman is the big bat that many of you think he is. Jay's in Boston. Go ahead, Jay.
Hey, what's up, Tony? How you doing?
Good.
Hey, listen, so a few things that I was listening all day. I tried calling earlier, okay? So a few things. One, I totally agree with you. It's not about giving up the prospects. Who gives a crud about them? Majority of them end up being a total bust. but it's about making your team better and getting the right guys. They did not do that here. To say that Rutschman's the best that they can get, Narvi had a better year last year than Rutschman did. Rutschman's not your guy. Meyer giving him away, fine. That's fine. But you missed opportunities in the past, and this whole thing is performative now. And what they're doing is they're just throwing it away because Breslow has no idea how to negotiate, and the ownership wants to say we went all in, but they're not getting the right guys. If they put this all together the right way, and
hey Jay, I'm going to let you go just because again you're starting to veer off. I get the general premise that you don't think Rutschman's all that good, which is fine. Like that's what I'm looking for. If you don't like the player coming back, that's fine. I mean, I'm totally okay with that. I like Rutschman as a player. I don't love him as a player, and they overpaid for him. That's my only point. And Narvaez was a better player last year. This year, Rutschman's the better player, and overall, Rutschman's the better player, and it's really not even that close. So I'm just trying to be fair. So last year, Narvaez was better. He was. Adley Rutschman's a better player than Carlos Narvaez. I mean, there isn't anybody in the world that wouldn't make that trade. That wouldn't trade Narvaez for Rutschman straight up. Everyone would do that. So they've improved at catcher. The question is whether or not they've improved enough. So, because I don't think Rutschman is that altering kind of talent that the previous caller was talking about. Go get a game changer. I don't know if Rutschman's a game changer anymore. I'm eager to see how the Red Sox handle his contract status because he's around for one more year. This year he's only making $7.25, I think it is. Catcher is the lowest paid position in baseball on the diamond. Relief pitchers are less, but I'm talking about positional players. Catcher is the lowest paid position on the diamond. So is it coincidence that the Red Sox got a catcher in a trade because they couldn't get it another way, and because he's a name that had a huge start to his career, that you look at it and say, in your mind, it's a bigger acquisition than you think it is? Or than it really is. So just something to consider. We're going to do a giveaway tonight, too. We'll do that when we come back. Let me just say it will relate to Adley Rutschman. It will relate to a piece of audio that we're going to play. So we'll take a couple of callers right now on the contest line, 617-931-0985. That's 617-931-0985. And we'll give out a $50 Gulf gas card if you or the second caller, first or second caller, can answer it correctly. We'll do that when we come back on the Baseball Hour. Kevin Majori has your headlines.
Sports Hub headlines.
So you're either going to overpay in money or overpay in prospects if you want players. That's the way it goes. Steve in Fall River. Steve, what do you got?
Let's get back to shortstop, Tony. You gave
Steve,
this
just do it quickly. That's all. Go ahead.
Trevor Story had a more productive year than Bobby Witt Jr. He did it from June 4th to the end of last year, and he's coming back. And he had more home runs.
So, Steve, you think that Trevor Story is a better player than Bobby Witt Jr.?
I said he had a better season last year, productive-wise, like you said, Narvaez. He's going to do better than Monasterio, and he's under control, and he can play second base. It's a good thing they didn't do anything stupid at shortstop. Okay?
Yeah, so no shortstops removed as it turned out. Look, I understand your point, but to say that you wouldn't have traded for Bobby Witt Jr. because you get Trevor Story coming back, is there anyone that really believes that? Like, because that's what you're implying, that Trevor Story played better than Bobby Witt Jr. and he's coming back. Okay. Then why were the Red Sox looking for a shortstop? Because they don't believe in him. I don't believe in him. And deep down, I don't think you believe in him. I think you're just trying to make the other argument, which is fine. I mean, that's what we do. But I'm not putting any kind of stock in Trevor Story whatsoever. Zero. Honestly, I would bring Cheng back up from the minor leagues and keep him on the bench. And then if you have to take Monasterio out for defense in the late innings, I would do that. Cheng is their best defensive shortstop. Mike is in a car. Mike, what do you got?
Hey, how you doing, Tony? I just got a quick point. So I think it just goes back to prove the point that they jumped the gun with the Curtis Meade trade because that was an overpayment. And then the second they let that asset go for that bum, every other trade became an overpayment, because if you put Connolly early in the deal with Baltimore, it doesn't look as bad. I don't hate the player. I think that in our lineup, he might be able to be a little bit more efficient and kind of get back where he was, because that whole lineup in Baltimore really has underperformed the last couple seasons. But it just goes back to them getting a bunch of show ponies instead of horses. And I'll hang up and listen. Have a good night.
So again, this is about what the return is. But at the end of the day, you have to pay for players. So look, we give the Red Sox a lot of grief for this. But think about it. A trade or a free agent is an auction. When a team sets its mind on trading a player, they're going to get the best offer for him. So it's an auction. I don't know why people get so bent out of shape by saying you overpaid. By definition, to get a player on the market, whether it's trade or free agency, you have to overpay. By definition, you have to outbid everyone else, which means your offer is the highest, you overpaid. Unless you're the Dodgers and it's rigged for you. In which case, you don't have to overpay, because, I feel like there's this collusion for a salary cap, and the way to do that is make the Dodgers a superpower. Maybe we'll get to that tomorrow, depending on what happens tonight. But you have to overpay. This is what Andrew Friedman said. If you always want to be, you want to draw a line in the sand at some point, you're always going to finish third. You want the player, you got to pay for him. Handsomely. Bob in a car. Bob, go ahead.
So first, I'm glad they did something as opposed to not doing something, and sure. I think that they prioritized the positions of need. The only thing, hearing you talk about the salary made me think, could they have upgraded and done something like Connolly early in Franklin Arias for De La Cruz in Cincinnati to get a more high-end shortstop? And I don't know if that would have been enough to swing it, but I would have rather gotten a more established player. And in that case, maybe give up Arias, unless you think Arias is ready this year or next year.
So I don't think Arias is going to be ready this year. I might be wrong. I mean, they played him at second base the other night. Could be any one of a million possibilities that they go to, but it doesn't feel like they're going to rush Franklin Arias. I like De La Cruz too. And would I have made that kind of deal? Like that one I can wrap my head around, because you're giving up a young shortstop for a young shortstop. The only difference is you have to pay one and not the other, and the Red Sox have the money to do that. So what you're saying makes total sense. Like that I get. At the end of the day, none of those shortstops moved, so it doesn't feel to me like any of those teams was really motivated to get a shortstop. Just quickly, I'll squeeze him in because he's been waiting. Nick and Wilbur. Nick, quickly.
Yeah, hi, Tony. Tony, for everyone discounting prospects, the people forget that last year their top prospects were Early, Tolley, and Bennett, and look how they turned out. And Iverson's right there with those guys, at least. His numbers down in Portland are amazing.
Yeah, so Nick, I agree with you. It's a good point. Yeah, Early pitched well. Tolley has pitched very well. Now, look, you also evaluate players on what their potential is. They traded Early. They kept Tolley. I think they probably made the right move there. Bennett was not with them until the offseason. So they did not have Bennett at the trading deadline last year. Bennett was in another team's organization. But I still think that was Breslow's best move. They traded a prospect they had, Luis Perales, for a prospect the Nationals had, Jake Bennett. And to this point, the Red Sox got the better of that deal. So now that tell you what, that's a good example of a trade, because both of them were prospects. That was an even deal. Our prospect for your prospect. We're giving you a hard-throwing right-hander. You're giving us a left-hander who doesn't throw super hard, but has tremendous control and has sneaky velocity because of his release point. He releases the ball closer to the plate. Red Sox made the right call. At least based on, if I'm judging the trade right now, they made the right call. I think that was Breslow's best move. Stu, is it Joe Murray tonight again? Joe Murray coming in?
It is.
Okay, Joe Murray coming in. He'll have you at 7 o'clock. Red Sox again playing over at Fenway Park against the White Sox. So lots going on tonight on the landscape as it relates to sports and baseball and discussion. Kevin Majori's got your headlines here. He'll catch you caught up in a minute. We'll catch you tomorrow.